This actually leads into something else I want to say, so bear with me. A mechanic was removing a cylinder head from the motor of a Harley-Davidson motorcycle when a well-known heart surgeon came into his shop. The surgeon was there waiting for the service manager to come to take a look at his bike. The mechanic shouted across the garage, "Hey Doc, can I ask you a question?" The surgeon, a bit surprised, walked over to the mechanic working on the motorcycle. The mechanic straightened up, wiped his hands on a rag, and asked, "So, Doc, look at this engine. I open its heart, take the valves out, fix them, put them back in, and when I finish, it works like new. So how come I get such a small salary and you get the really big bucks when you and I basically do the same work?" The surgeon paused, smiled, and looked over and whispered to the mechanic, "Try doing it with the engine running." Taking things apart. I was down in Greenville visiting some of my family in the middle of April, and my middle nephew's daughter, Audrey, was playing with this car. And the car was able to be dismantled and taken apart in 5 easy pieces in the hopes that she could make some sense of putting it back together. Taking things apart. It's a great thing when you're talking about science, mechanics, mathematics, and even poetry. But when it comes to taking things apart of our spirituality and our faith, it's not the same. Did you ever hear of something called the paralysis of analysis? It goes like this. There's a poem called Quandary. The centipede was happy and bright until a toad in fun said, "Pray, which leg goes after which?" This worked her mind to such a pitch, she lay distracted in a ditch, considering how to walk. We are celebrating the solemnity of the Most Holy Trinity. We believe in a God who is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. A God who is not some mystery to solve, something we can take apart, but it's someone we need to imitate and whose example we try to follow. The gospel gives us a little bit of understanding when it comes to the Trinity. The disciples were with Jesus for 3 years during his public ministry. He talked and shared all about his Father and the kingdom. He came to inform them who the Father was. They had a personal relationship with Jesus. He was their friend, and they came to understand that he was also the Messiah, the Son of God. He told them he was leaving them, and what did they want? They wanted more. They wanted him to stay. They didn't want him to leave. Like, "Oliver, please, sir, give me some more." They wanted more. He said, "No, I give you the Spirit, who will reveal everything to you about the truth and share our experience of love with you." St. Paul said it so well in the second reading. The Spirit of truth is given us because we need the fullness of God's love. I think a song says it best when I try to ponder the Trinity. I had 1 whole semester in seminary about the Trinity. 4 hours each week. Professor was very eloquent. At the end of the semester, he said 2 Latin words, "Mysterium est." And I said, "What? 1 whole semester and all you're going to tell us it's a mystery?" The mystery is not, again, something we solve. It's something we try to live. And that living is experienced in the gospel where those disciples are longing for more. Listen to the song for a second. At least a part of the song. Everybody here? You know, there is a longing in our hearts for love. There's a longing in our hearts for God to reveal himself to us, to be present to us. We long for God's presence in so many instances in our lives. I long for God to be with my own mother as she faces radiation and chemotherapy soon. I long for God to be with all of our graduates as they leave the bubble and go to shape their lives and our world. I long for God's presence for all those people in the armed forces who sacrifice their life each and every day for us, for those who have sacrificed their lives already and have inherited the kingdom, for all those who are grieving their loss. I long for God to be with them. We all, if you think about it and experience it, have that inner longing for the fullness of God's love in each and every moment of our lives. We want God to be with us in our joys and in our sorrows. And I think a man by the name of Monsignor John Mabula, who lives in Hawaii, said it the best. The life of the Holy Trinity is a life of intense sharing of one and the same life in the most perfect manner possible. That is perhaps the reason why God, in creating us, does not immediately take us to heaven. The explanation is simple. If God did so, we would mess heaven up. Thus, our life on earth is meant to be a time to practice sharing life with the people that God gives us in order to gain the experience of the Trinitarian life first. We need to do this so intensely and so intimately that we become totally transparent to others with nothing of our own to hide, in complete trust and confidence in one another. In other words, the doctrine of the Holy Trinity is not just a subject for theological speculation, but a life of communion and sharing to be